Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and we're talking about legacies today. This time it's a little different. I know it's kind of been sad since the finale has aired, but I thought why not do something a little different? So today we're gonna rank the seasons. Not just last time I did seasons 1 to 4, but we're gonna talk about the specific storylines or the chapters within these seasons. And I'm not doing it alone today. I brought my friend Amber along with me, who's gonna be ranking along with me. So heads up, I do not know how long this video is gonna take. We all know from my other videos, I cannot keep time as well as I think I can. But with Amber, there is no telling how long we're going to talk about this, though. But Amber, I want to say hello to everybody.
Hi, my name's Amber.
We,
It's a pleasure.
of course, if anything, if anyone who has been following along, especially with my Legacies videos, Amber and I both met during the screenwriting program that I was taking. It would have been when season 2 would have aired for Legacies, if anyone wants to know a little timeline of when that happened before the whole pandemic thing happened. But before we truly get started and dissect what we're going to do in this video, huge spoiler alerts and disclaimers. Spoiler alert, not only for Legacies itself, if you haven't seen the full series, if you haven't seen episode 420, I suggest you go do that first because there's going to be spoilers in this. And if you know any of my videos, I'm going to not only talk about Legacies, but Vampire Diaries is going to come up. The Originals is going to come up. So, huge spoiler for those two shows as well, because I can go on tangents, things to be connected, who knows. So, huge spoiler for that. Also, what is shared in this video is going to be either my own personal opinions about these storylines and Amber's own opinions about these storylines. They could be the same, they could be different, but they are our opinions. If they differ from your own, that is great. We'd love to hear why they differ and how they differ in the comment section down below. Also, if we like any particular characters that have done some questionable things, that does not reflect if we would like those same type of qualities in someone in real life. This is just a fantasy world. I feel like I always have to say that when it comes to talking about the Vampire Diaries franchise. So let's just get that out of the way. And I know that Amber is laughing right now because you
Yep.
know that is true.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some
So,
questionable things when it comes to relationships in
yes,
Vampire Diaries.
that is very true in the case. So, what are we going to talk about in this video? So, give everybody a heads up. As I said before, we're going to talk about the different chapters or the storylines featured in the 4 seasons of the of Legacies. I'm about to say Vampire Diaries. In Legacies, there's about 13 of them. These are all thanks to the website Legacies Wiki. Google that. They're the go-to website I go to for anything detail related for this franchise. They're the ones that were labeling these chapters. They also provided the episodes that belong to these chapters that were really helpful in trying to narrow down how exactly these storylines kind of came to be. So link for that website is down below in the description box, but we're going to go through the chapters as we finish a season. We're then going to share with each other our top favorite episodes for each season. Amber prepared her list beforehand. I prepared mine, but we have not shared it with each other. So it'll be very interesting to see if we have the same ones in common or if we have any different ones. So we're going to do that as we go along. We're going to do everything chronologically. And I'm going to be the pink boxes, as you see on screen. Amber is the blue boxes. And we're going to go back and forth and rank them in the 5 categories you see above us. The goal is to only have 3 of each of our colored boxes in each row max because we actually want to create a list today. So either what we're looking for, rewatch worthy, Amber is going to be, do you like that story enough that you would see episodes in that multiple times? Great. It's kind of like you could do things a little better, but it's still a good quality storyline. Good would be more of like maybe neutral. It's like it's had its good points, but it's like you're still okay with it showing. It had its moments. It could gotta go either way for you. If it's like it was either good, either bad. Don't really know. Meh could either be you forgot about what the storyline was about. You didn't really care for it. It's kind of like your that's like your F rating kind of a storyline.
Oh, okay. I had a bunch of those in mind. It's not on a list, but I can think of it. I can think of some episodes like that kind of fit that category. So,
Yeah. So if anything, we're going to see if any storylines fit into those categories. So let's start. Now, let's go into season 2. So season 2 started in 2019. This is got way maybe halfway, maybe three-quarters of the way before the pandemic hit, and it just derailed all the scheduling here afterwards when it came to it. But the memory chapter we're going to talk about is episode 1 to episode 8. So this would have been up to the Christmas holiday winter break again for this portion, which I'm noticing a pattern with that. And I'm not really liking it because it's just too much episodes for one storyline. I'm finding. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're finding that too, but
No, I felt like Legacies like prolonged a lot of storylines that could have just been dealt with
very
like, I don't
quickly,
know, very quickly.
or it was the wrong thing focused. So for this one, the memory chapter deals with everybody not remembering who Hope was. So I think for her, it's been like 3 months since she actually gets out of Malibor, which is in the first episode in itself. And then afterwards, it's her going by the name of Hope Mitchell, trying to see how everybody is without her, or better off without her knowledge. And only Olark knows her back at the high school and trying to go from there. But it's in episode 6 is when everybody starts remembering who she is, and then her dealing with the follow in episode 7 and 8 that
Yeah.
ends off the memory chapter.
I felt like this season had a lot of fillers.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you kind of see what more of like Monster of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see it more also in season 3.
Yeah.
They just kept prolonging like the Malivore story, and I was just like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
I would say with this though, in the earlier season, it was more focused on the monster of the week versus
Yeah.
like in the later season, it's like monster of the week on the side and now more focused on the bigger problem that's serialized throughout the season
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of the other way around, like it did in the beginning of the show. But where would you put the memory chapter after saying all that?
Let me see. Okay, so one of my episodes that I have ranked as one of the top 5. One of the episodes is episode 6. Everyone remembers Hope. We have the Freya cameo.
Yeah.
And what else? What else? And then we have episode 2 where Lizzie kind of has like a ghost boyfriend.
Oh, Sebastian. That's when he's introduced, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that episode was okay. Like it was good. I think it was really great for Lizzie because you kind of like I think
It's a
Lizzie,
shift in her. It's a shift in her.
yeah, yeah. Um, like Lizzie had trouble like finding like guys that kind of like actually liked her, except for like MJ, because MJ was like head over heels for Lizzie, and she just didn't see that because she, oh my
Yeah.
God. But I think this was very interesting, and I think seeing Sebastian like the actor, because everyone was like kind of hyping him up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like during that year of that season. So I was
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, what's the big deal with this actor?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that, and he's like not that bad. It's pretty
Well,
interesting.
the
Like,
thing with that though is with all the hype that was around Sebastian, I thought he would last a lot longer than he did.
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was kind of like interested in that episode because I thought he was gonna have like a like permanent role in Legacies, and especially seeing him enroll into the school. I was like, okay, we can actually like find some like likable, redeeming qualities within this character throughout the season, and then later he just decides to stay in the prison world.
Yeah, they get rid of him very quickly.
Yeah,
And so
I didn't really like that. I thought he had potential, but at the same time, like it made sense.
mhm, yeah, for sure. So where would you put the memory chapter?
Uh,
Since you
it's
have two it with your top ranking ones.
mm, see, I feel like I just put these episodes because just to say I like season 2, but like I don't know.
Okay.
I think it had its moments.
Okay. Going in, it had its moments.
Yeah, because like I don't know, it just had its moments.
Okay.
Like Freya was a good one.
Hmm.
Kind of seeing Sebastian, like the actor, and kind of seeing what the hype
Hmm.
around him as an actor, and kind of seeing Sebastian, like him play Sebastian, was kind of pretty cool, and kind of seeing the a potential for his character to grow in that particular episode, in episodes, 6, I
Yeah.
think.
I,
Not 6, but
I'm also gonna put it had its moments just because there's only out of the 8 episodes, there's only like 2 where I specifically would rewatch again.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's like it's all blurred together, or it's like I like the idea of not everybody like Hope trying to now figure out where she is in the world with no one knowing who she is. But like it's not to the point where I would like I don't think it should have lasted 8 episodes.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
feel like if anything, 5 episodes
yeah,
and that's it. Just cut it off there. Because then now when you think about it with the whole pandemic and where things cut off, you now have the rest of the 8 episodes of the season now just be these very uneven
yeah.
focus for the storyline. So for
I
that,
feel sorry. I feel like the pandemic was like kind of one of the reasons why it made the legacies as it is, like kind of like episodic rather than serialized. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna blame it on the pandemic. But at the
well,
same time, I feel like it's not just the pandemic that it made it like
yeah,
episodic in a way that it was with the monster of the week, which I
yeah,
did not like.
no. We'll bring it up after when we're done with the season 2. But with the next chapter, it's the Necromancer chapter. So episode 9 to episode 13. This includes more of Sebastian. This is also where we get Kai Parker returning with the prison world and learning
Yeah,
about the prison world even existing to hold 3 of the other bad students that Alaric had placed there. So it's kind of, I feel like this should be considered like just the prison world chapter, if anything, than the
yeah.
Necromancer chapter. But I didn't name it, and I'm going to go with what the wiki says. So, Necromancer chapter. What are your thoughts?
I feel like Necromancer chapter was called because Necromancer becomes a very prominent role in the coming seasons.
Yeah, he did
Um,
return in
yeah, he
the
did,
start
and
of
it was
this.
so good.
You got Ted.
Um,
You got Ted in this intro for it. But where
yeah,
would you put it though?
like, okay, for my season 2 ranks, I have what's it called, or is it? I have Kai Parker is number 1 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
So like having Kai like cameo in was like really really good. And I think did they continue with his character
He's in
in
two
the next?
episodes. He's
Okay.
2 episodes. So he's in episode 12 and 13.
Okay, so that
So
that was nice.
yeah, because 12 was when he's in the prison world and 13 when he's out of the prison world.
hmm I also have like the Cupid
Mm,
episode. I just put it there because I was like,
number 11. It was
yeah, number
definitely a
11.
darker take for
Yeah,
Cupid. That's
that's
for
why
sure.
I liked it. That's
Okay.
why it's on the list, but I also put it on the list just for the sake of having my number 5. Um, yeah,
So
I just
would it be great then? Rewatch worthy? Good?
no, it wouldn't be watch worthy for sure. Even though it has Kai,
Hmm.
I don't think the season had I'm gonna say it's neutral. So it's good. But it also had its moments, but it had like a lot of episodes where I didn't particularly like. So I'm gonna just say it had its moments.
Alrighty then.
There's a lot of season 2 that I don't particularly like.
Mm. Understandable for sure. I think for it's gonna be tricky because it's coming down to this part. Based off of, I think I would have to put it as I want to put it as good, but I already have that's my 3 limit then. So like I think for me it has to be it had its moments, but I feel like it's either that or it's great because based off of what the next chapter is, it's kind of like where would I put that chapter verse? No, I'm gonna put it at it's had its moments
Yeah.
just because where the this next chapter is going, I know it's gonna be better, which is the Dark Josie chapter, which is
Yeah.
episode
And
14, 15.
I kind of know what like that would be at. I feel
Okay,
like that would be great
great for
because
you.
I think, I just
Oh,
really liked the dark side of Josie and
mhm,
I loved how they did it, especially with
yeah.
kind of what did they do? Bringing
Well,
into
they
the fight.
first, yeah, they first had it where they had a film noir therapy where they revealed that Dark Josie actually exists. So that was a different kind of of an episode in itself. And
Yeah,
then they had the merger where Dark Josie challenged Lizzie. Um, on supposedly it was their 17th birthday, but then at the same time, it's like, is it because you had your 16th birthday in episode 106 and it definitely has not been a year between the two episodes? So
yeah.
it's like, is that actually the 17th birthday for them, or did Dark Josie just push it forward of like, no, we're doing the merger now? So that was always my thing because timeline, I don't know if you remember, Amber, but I'm a huge thing on timeline, continuity, and
Yeah.
everything. So,
Yes.
like the fact that Vampire Diaries established when those twins were born and they kept a date to it, then you're telling me they had a 16th birthday, and then now you're telling me less than a year later they have a 17th birthday? That doesn't make sense, even with the
Yeah.
3 month time jump at the beginning of the season. So it's like that one was like a huge iffy one for me, but I like the display of hope going against Dark Josie. And then they
Yeah.
ended with a fairy tale unexpectedly they ended this season with the fairy tale
They
because
had
of
some
the
good jokes.
pandemic.
They
Yeah,
had some good jokes in that episode,
yeah, but
which was very, very unexpected to have, but it was kind of interesting. That's kind of like see how they kind of like, slither that in there, like some
yeah,
jokes.
I know for me I'm gonna have to put Dark Josie in that as well, just because for an unexpected finale, that was a good episode to end the season on. Just because I know that was supposed to be the episode before we went into like the March Madness hiatus that usually happens.
Yeah.
So I feel like they couldn't have, I mean, they couldn't have expected it that everything was going to drop. But like, I feel like from where they ended, the fact of us not knowing why Hope wouldn't wake up was quite an interesting way to end it. Plus, just those 3 episodes in itself, again, a good amount of time to have a storyline chapter. 3, 4 episodes, that's a good, decent amount of time instead of 8. But
Yeah.
I feel like we got a lot of different range in those 3. We got a film noir, we got a fairy tale world, and then we got like fight to the death kind of a situation. So I feel like that I am good with going there. But
Did you like how they did like what's it called? Hope's like not waking up. And then they said that they had like their excuse was like she kind of knew that Landon was
I
in
didn't like
trouble.
I didn't like that excuse. They had that excuse explained in the season 3 premiere, but in the episode 216, they kind of implied that it was because she got turned to stone in Josie's mind, that might be why she's not able to wake up because she's kind of still trapped in Josie's mind. But then to come back and say like, no, it's because they know that Landon isn't back yet. It's just like that.
Yeah, I didn't
How
like that.
would how would Hope? Sorry, but how would Hope in her like stuck in someone else's conscious know that Landon isn't back yet?
Yeah, I didn't like that. And like there was one episode where Landon where was he? I don't know.
Mm, I actually don't remember at
I don't
all.
remember either. But like there's one episode where like oh, I remember he was stuck in limbo
Again?
and he didn't want to come back. But like
Oh, right. No, he got stabbed by the golden arrow.
yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. Well, yeah, limbo, whatever. Um,
Right, because in the next episode, that's where Raphael was able to see him, and the necromancer comes back, and that's why they make the deal. Gotcha.
yeah,
But that's in
yeah,
the season 3 starters, which we'll
yeah.
talk about
Um,
later.
yeah,
But
but there's a scene uh Hope and Landon have, and Hope's like, yeah, I kind of knew something was like up, that's why I didn't want to wake up. And I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
what? Like, no, I
no.
did not like that excuse. That's one thing I did not like about that chapter.
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure
it
that
was,
that's a following chapter. That's in the resurrection chapter because the end the because 206 ended with her being asleep and they didn't know why she was asleep. Like that's how
oh,
the
okay,
season ended because that's where the pandemic hit and everything had to be shut down.
okay, yeah,
So before we go into the faux pas of 301 with that one, but you already stated what your top favorites for season 2. But did you want to quickly list them as refreshers of 1 to 5?
yes, I will. Okay, so number one is the Kai cameo, episode 12. Really
Okay.
like that, and it kind of bringing back the prison world. I really liked it.
Okay.
I kind of wish they brought like Bonnie's character, because they always reference like Bonnie's blood. And I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
happens if there was a moment where they ran out of Bonnie's blood and they kind of had to like, track her down? That would have been really cool. But I don't know if she would have been willing to kind of come back. Yeah, no,
Don't think
knowing
so.
the
No.
stories.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that would have been like really kind of cool way to kind of see her character. Because I really liked Bonnie. Like Bonnie, um, Damon and like Elaine, like after like the only reason why I watched Vampire Diaries was because I really liked Bonnie's character.
Mm-hmm.
And like Bonnie was like literally like for me was the one thing that was kind of like kept me going to keep watching the Vampire Diaries after like Elena died or
Mm-hmm.
like fell asleep.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it was Damon and Bonnie for me that just kept me going. And I really
Mm-hmm.
liked Bonnie's like character. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Anyways, my second would be episode 6. Everyone remembers Hope, and then we have the Freya cameo.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good episode. And that's where what Josie
Josie
uses,
meets Freya.
yeah, and she uses dark magic to kind of bring everyone's like
Memory.
memories back.
Mm-hmm.
And then another like in episode 15 is number 3, and that's where we have Josie and Lizzie's fight,
Mm-hmm.
which I really, really liked. And that's kind of like where you see what the whole Dark Josie transform. I think that's the episode, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And then the next one, I think it's number 4, episode 2, is where we kind of see Sebastian.
Okay.
Um, and like Lizzie's kind of love interest between them two.
Okay.
And then the last one would be Cupid because of the dark elements.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
I feel
So,
like I put those last two, just for the sake of putting it. It's not like my all-time favorite though,
okay.
but I put it.
So I have four of the same ones, just in different orders. So my number one is the 212 Kai being in the prison world, just from not only him coming back, but getting to know, seeing the Saltzmans in that world, trying to survive while also dealing with the
Yeah.
three that kind of got imprisoned in there and trying to decide, are they good, are they bad, kind of a thing. Um, Second one is 213, the follow up with Kai, just because seeing how he manipulates everybody in the real world, and then also how Alaric got his revenge by killing Kai because he's the one who killed Joe out of everything.
That was a good episode. I forgot
So,
about that episode.
so that one, my third one would have to be 206 with Freya, just because with Freya alone, even though she only got the one scene with Hope at the end with the hug, she had more screen time with Josie. But I like all the little details we found out about Freya and what has happened in the last 2 years. The fact that she has a little boy named Nick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just her not remembering who Hope was, it was very heartbreaking. But
And
then to
seeing
have them at the end,
and
and
seeing
hug.
like the Orleans set and
Mm-hmm.
like the location and the bar from the
Mm-hmm.
originals, kind of like it was so like nostalgic for me.
I'm
That's
glad they
why.
were able to use it again,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then from that, my fourth one has to be episode 202. And not because of Sebastian, but what I remember from that episode is because Hope was teaming up with a Lark, and it's this to take down the Cyclops. But it's also the same episode where, because he only knew her as Hope Mitchell, but that's the episode, if I remember correctly, where she confessed to him that she's actually the daughter of Klaus Michelson and that you don't remember me, but
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
kind of
that
been
was
like this father figure to me. And she got emotional doing that. And instead of Alaric just saying like, no, you're associated with Klaus, get away with me, he still kind of accepted her as if like he knew deep down like what he was telling her was true. And it was just like really good emotion between the two of them. Just seeing that pull forward. I always liked it with those two because it just showed how far Alaric has come, considering how much he hated Klaus to
yeah.
now he's actually kind of helping to raise his Klaus's daughter. So it's
Yeah, and
like,
I think in the originals, like Alarg wasn't really keen on like kind of being buddy buddy with like Hope. And it was
Yeah.
like Caroline that was kind of pushing him to do it.
Yeah, because he was worried about this little 8-year-old who would be older than his own girl, is worried that all this power and she'd end up turning out to be like Klaus, and he didn't want her anywhere near the school. But then
Yeah.
Caroline's like, if anything, the school could help her not turn into Klaus. And it's just like, okay. So it was like for that moment, that's kind of what drew me to 202. And then my fifth one is 215, which is the birthday merger with the Dark Fairy Tale. I
Yeah.
like 14 and 16 as well too, but like out of those three with the chapter, I liked 15 better just because
Yeah.
we got to see the fight between the twins, but we also got to see the fight between Dark Josie and Hope in the little ring style fight ring
Mhm.
situation. So that was just interesting seeing all three of them in a different dynamic with each other, which is kind of why I
Yeah.
liked it. But yeah. And that's the end of part 2 of this recording storylines journey for Legacies as we covered season 2 in this video. Sorry again, editor Mel, interrupting. As I've said in at the end of part 1, the original recording ended up being 2.5 hours long, and I've decided to split it up into 4 parts, one for each season, so it's a little bit easier viewing wise. So as the end of season 2, um, actually kind of surprised by how much shorter this section was compared to the other three. Uh, but I kind of attribute that to the fact that like 4 episodes of this season did get pushed to season 3, so we do talk a bit more about that in the season 3 video. That's part 3 coming up for you shortly. So that is a little bit why there. But it was very interesting to see kind of how we felt about this season because this is the one that still was going to plan before the pandemic kind of unexpectedly shut everything down. So it was pretty interesting to see how that correlated later on down the line, which you will see in parts 2 and 3 when we talk about season 3 and season 4 as all that kind of trickles down forward. But otherwise, what did you guys think of season 2? What were your own rankings of the storylines? What were your own top 5 favorite episodes? Let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your own thoughts about that. Want to know if some of them agree or match with what we had said, or if some of them differ, as we saw with mine and Amber's results. We I think we did have quite a bit of overlap for a few things this season, which is very interesting. Based off of where we are, we have one each for rewatch worthy. Uh, Amber has more in great, while I have more in good, but we both have the same ones in it had its moments. So I will give a little tease that there is some swapping done in part 3 and part 4. So uh, come back and check out those videos to see which storylines actually did get swapped out of their original settings that you see here in this video. That's also pretty cool as well. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it at there, guys. So, like I said, comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check my other videos if you haven't done so already. Any other Legacies videos are going to be in the playlist linked up where on the card below or somewhere. But also, I do the notification bell as well because there are 2 more videos for this concept coming your way, part 3 and part 4 for season 3 and season 4. If you want to catch up, we do talk a little bit more in depth about how the pushback happened from what the pandemic caused. So that's quite a bit of insight there. But otherwise, my links for my Tumblr, my WordPress are all down in the description box below if you want to follow me there as well. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it at there, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I do hope you come back next time to either see my next recap that should be, since I don't know exactly particular what day this video is released to you guys, I don't know which Motherland Fort Salem recap is airing at this time, but I hope you check that out. If not, I hope you come back to check out part 3 of the Legacies ranking storylines that we have started here. We're halfway there now. So till then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you a great day, great week wherever you are. Please stay safe, and until next time, bye for now.